Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share your opinion down below. Our stories today are from the subreddit r/am I the a-hole. Check the description for the links and timestamps. Am I the a-hole for wanting to accept money from my estranged family? I, 18F, live alone with my mother. My dad abandoned us when he learned of her pregnancy, and except for 3 phone calls when I was 10 where I learned I had a half-sister, his family never tried to contact us. Fast forward to mid-February where his mother called us out of the blue. We learned that he was getting married to a woman with 3 teenagers and it was apparently the straw that broke the camel's back. She went on about how he had 2 daughters he never took care of and if he wanted to do whatever he wanted, she would too. She also said that she and her family thought about me constantly. Personally, I don't believe her that much. I know she must feel regretful, but she said she used to go to our city and try to see me, and she knows my grandparents' address, so why didn't she come? Close bracket. From then on, her, his brother and his other wife, the mother of my half-sister, call us regularly. My family was pretty happy for me. Problem is, my dad's side is rich. Like I used to be a model and your grandpa a very acclaimed doctor and now we live in a villa type of rich. And I'm not saying that my mom's side, aka the side that raised me all my life, is dirt poor, but struggling is something we did, do and will probably still continue to do. TLDR, she wants to pay for my driving license, that I would have never taken because it's too expensive, and wants to send me money, roughly $50, I'm not too sure with the conversion rate, every month. She assured us it's something she does for my cousin, the daughter of my dad's brother, and that she wants us to know that she does it because it makes her happy. My mom doesn't want me to accept it, and my family too. We were at my aunt's and she and her told me and I quote that I had no honor and no dignity. Accepting their money would be like selling my soul to the devil. I made a joke about how it wasn't as if I was selling myself and my aunt responded, well, you know, it's as if. Double quote. I left and cried. What hurts the most is that not even 10 minutes before this, my dad's mother called us and my mother said how she would be 120% behind every one of my decisions, that she would support me in everything I do. I don't know if I'm in the wrong for wanting to accept their money. They're strangers but they're also family. They have never done anything for us, so if they want to give us money to help us, I'm not against it. I know that accepting it right now could be dangerous, so I wanted to wait at least until we met in person this summer. It's not good enough for my family, they want nothing of them because they need to uphold our pride. My aunt called me a who and my mom didn't defend me, and I really don't know what to think anymore. All of my friends told me I should accept their money or even do it behind their back, but I can't do that. I still respect them, they raised me, and I love them. I'm tired. I don't want to go against them. It's none of your aunt's business, her opinion is irrelevant. Your dad left you, not your other relatives on his side. You have no idea what he told them or what his relationship was like with them. Up to you whether you choose to try to build a relationship with them now. It's with them, not your dad. Not the a-hole. Your aunt and mother are though. Somebody wants to give you money with no strings attached, you accepting is not an issue. Not the a-hole excessively, but in your place, I would not touch their gifts. I think you should be cautious about trusting the motivations of your newly involved family members. They ignored you for 18 years and now are showering you with money to spite your biological father who married someone the grandmom doesn't approve of. When grandmom makes up with her son, the flow of money will cease like turning off a spigot. O.P. Your grandmother is a stranger at this point, and the fact she hasn't tried to reach out before is worrying. It does sound like it's spite that's driving her actions, not that it would make her happy to give gifts. I'd be very cautious accepting the money, if ever, especially with how your mom reacted to it, so it might be better to postpone accepting it until you know her better, at least. Your aunt and dad are definitely a-holes here, but I'd sure pass your verdict as not the a-hole. Would I be the a-hole for telling my father-in-law that his son is an a-hole who might be on the autism spectrum? My brother-in-law is 19. At first, I saw signs that he felt entitled for having a successful father. I've caught him googling his dad's net worth. In addition, his personality has indicated that he may be on the autism spectrum. However, his mom believes that the label of diagnosis does more damage than the treatment. His father has chosen to stay out of it and pick his battles. In the past, my Phil has vented about his son being entitled, and we agree that his mother, fiance's stepmom, has coddled him, which is why he's entitled. About 2 years ago, his parents split up. 6 months ago, his mom married a nice and wealthy man. The two of them have gone to live on a property of his and asked my fiance and I to cat sit at their beach condo, since he's allergic. We agreed to adopt the cat and stay there until we can afford our own place. However, the one condition was that we had to agree to live with my brother-in-law. It was fine until he started making remarks about how he practically owns the place and that we're guests. I still wanted to bond with him, and picked up a shift to buy a new FIFA game that we both wanted. That night, I sent him a Snapchat of the game with the caption 10 push-ups for every goal. He replied saying that he was drunk at a party, then sent a Snapchat of him sending me threats. That night, received a flurry of videos of him and his friends flipping me off, calling me a simp. One of his female friends asked how many girls I even scored. Ironically, my brother-in-law is an incel. Lastly, he sent a video of him flexing shirtless saying, "I'm the alpha here, don't forget it." I kept the last video and opened so I could show my fiancée when she woke up. To no surprise, she was appalled and sided with me. When confronted about his behavior, he took zero blame and said, "I don't know what to tell you, drunk me and sober me are different people." When I asked him who would pay the price for a DUI, he realized he was in the wrong and needed several days to cool off at his dad's house. To this day, his dad has no idea about what happened. When my brother-in-law got back, he apologized and agreed to be sober. Since then, living with him has been tense. My fiancé called him out on his behavior regarding household chores, and he talked down to her in a demeaning way. I defended her, to which he said, "Stop," as he pointed at me like I was his servant. I snapped and said that he cannot treat either of us that way, as I was done normalizing how he acted. I let my fiancé know that once her brother-in-law is no longer our roommate, I plan on telling his parents the details of the Snapchat incident in hopes that they would understand. I also asked my fiancé to talk to her dad about the possibility of his son being on the autism spectrum. I've argued that being on the spectrum does not excuse one from being an arsehole, and that it must be called out so it doesn't continue. So Reddit, would I be the arsehole for essentially snitching on my brother-in-law? Not the a-hole. Don't wait. Do it now. He needs some kinds of help treatment. Info: why do you think he might be autistic? I'm genuinely not seeing any strong indicators of neurodivergence in your post. Due to a text limit, I deleted the part about reasons he may be on the spectrum. I put it in another comment but shall direct it here so you are notified. He has avoided eye contact for the majority of his childhood, lack in facial expressions, lack of empathy, obsessions and extreme talent in certain hobbies, sensitive to stimuli, taste, sound, and more. Thank you for the info. Just briefly. Lack of effective empathy is not a trait of autism. Lack of empathy is a personality disorder trait. People with autism can lack the ability to understand what someone might be thinking and feeling, therefore can be a little clueless and clumsy, but in general are just like the rest of the population. Their feelings for people are variable. The rest does fit though, so I understand why you're thinking he might be on the spectrum. No two can disagree that he's the a-hole here, and you wouldn't be. I don't actually think you should wait before informing his parent. He sounds irresponsible and sure in need of treatment. The more you wait, the more damaging it would be to him and people around him. Am I the a-hole for not letting my father into my flat so he slept in his car? I haven't had contact with him since my early childhood. After the separation of my parents, he had the right to see me every second weekend, but he often forgot me or brought me back early because he had other plans, other women, alcohol. After a while a court ruled in my mother's favor because she couldn't see me being sad and feeling rejected 2 times a month, and we didn't have any contact since then. His drinking problem was also a reason for the court. I moved really far away from home to study. Last week my father knocked on my door. I have contact with some of his sisters, my aunts, and wrote them cards, so he got my address from them. When I opened I felt so shocked, sad and angry. He wanted to talk to me and he pushed himself into my flat. I told him that I don't want him here and that I don't want to talk to him right now. My boyfriend came from our living room and he saw how stressed I felt. He told my father to leave our flat because he was not invited. I said to him that he should write me a letter if he has something to say and I will read it. He said that he drove all the way to my flat. It's 7 hours from my hometown, and because of the pandemic he can't stay at a hotel. I said that he should have thought about it before and not expecting to sleep by me. I closed the door. He kept yelling and ringing but I didn't answer or opened the door. My aunts called me angrily 2 days after because he had to sleep in his car. They called me an a-hole for not allowing him in my flat and that I didn't talk to him. I'm not sure if I'm the a-hole. As a child everything I ever wanted was a caring dad, but as an adult I learned very painful to give that dream up and be happy without a father. It was just too much seeing him without any warning. Throwaway account because one of my aunts follows my normal account. And sorry, English isn't my first language. Not the a-hole, you don't owe him anything. He clearly knew you didn't want to see him or he'd have given you warning he was coming. Not the a-hole. He's a stranger who you haven't had contact with for years. He's not entitled to show up to your home after 15+ years and expect you to roll out the welcome wagon just because he's family and you share DNA. Good on you and your boyfriend for making him leave. Not the a-hole. You don't owe your father anything, let alone a place to sleep in your home. You two have been out of contact since you were a child, but you did let him know that you would be open to communicating with him via mail. Your father was entitled and weirdly aggressive. You were ambushed and set a reasonable boundary. You have done nothing wrong here. You're so much not the a-hole here, O.P., and you must know it. After all the pain he caused, he doesn't get to waltz into your life and expect to sleep at your house like nothing happened. He and your aunts are the a-holes here. They don't get to feel angry at your actions. You owe them nothing. This man arrived uninvited and forced his way into your apartment with baseless expectations to be sheltered and welcomed when he is a total stranger by now. He also didn't make any effort to contact you before or ask for permission to see you. It sounds like he might have done all of this just because he wants something. I'm glad you and your boyfriend have stood up to him. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did. Until next time.